Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The freshman 15 is very real. It describes the weight that freshmen in college normally gain when living by themselves for the first time, suddenly immersed in a brave new world of dubious diets, weekend parties, and late-night trips to Taco Bell. But what about the dreaded sophomore slump? Is that real, or is it more like a myth, a self-fulfilling prophecy where the ongoing struggles of a second-year baseball player are mostly found between the ears? And that, of course, brings us to Corbin Carroll, who was clearly the catalyst in a rare series victory at Dodger Stadium on Wednesday. His two-run triple was more than a key moment. It was an at-bat when he could not barrel up a couple of meatballs, but he hung in there. He stayed back on a breaking ball, and he delivered. And he rounded the bases like a cheetah in the Serengeti, and then he scored on a wild pitch, providing exactly the grade of octane that fueled this team all of last year. Now, I hope this is a turning point for the Diamondbacks and for last season's National League Rookie of the Year, because Corbin Carroll might be exactly the type of serious-minded player who cares too much, who thinks too much, who gets in his own way too much, who might be susceptible to the pressures of a sophomore slump. But that one at bat last night showed me something. It showed the fortitude he needs to break through for good and maybe get this team back in the fast lane. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury affordable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
From the stretch, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, that's ripped to right center field, and that's going to get down. 2 runs are going to score. It goes all the way to the wall, and Carroll rounding second on his way to third, and he is in with a 2-run triple.
I mean, the ball was bobbled a little bit after it bounced off the wall by Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Carroll gets to third base easily without the bobble. I was shocked. My jaw literally dropped watching that play on how fast he was moving.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
The determination on
the
that
angles,
play.
the way he rounds the bases, it's something else. And again, I think those optics matter. You can leg out a triple, or you can do it like Corbin Carroll, and you do it like Corbin Carroll, it kind of reminds everybody, whoa, there's a special player on the baseball field.
Yeah.
That we don't normally see a lot of this.
You mentioned it in the Blast, Bick. He's not only last year's Rookie of the Year in the National League, he finished 5th in the MVP voting.
And then came that wild pitch, and again, this was just an optical thing for me, where the ball bounces off the catcher's shin guard or his chest protector or whatever. It starts to dribble away, and the catcher pounces up because he knows, and then he realizes, we're never going to have a chance anyways, because Corbin Carroll was halfway to home plate by the time the guy stood up.
Speed, a player like that impacts everything. Like, part of the reason probably that he bobbles a ball in the outfield like that is because he knows he has to get it in quickly because he has Corbin Carroll running like a crazy person around the bases.
And then if you get Corbin Carroll on first base for whatever reason, now it changes the pitcher's mindset completely. Yeah, you can't underestimate what a player like that does, because he is unique, because what he brings to a baseball field, people don't know exactly how to deal with it, right? And that's kind of the facts of the matter. And so this is a kid now who's got 3 triples in his last 4 games. Is that right?
Yes.
That's the stat. And he's not out of the woods yet by any means at all. But again, I think what I saw last night on that one at bat, because as that bat progressed, Vinny, the 2 pitches he fouled off, I'm like, these are pitches he would have drilled last year. And I'm thinking, this kid's in trouble. And then he had the fortitude to stay with the at-bat and the patience to stay back on a breaking ball, which shows you he's working his way through this. It's not happening fast. But Mike Hazen talked about this 2 days ago on Wolf and Luke, that you've got to take, when a kid is struggling as profoundly as Corbin Carroll has been struggling, you look for the small things. Okay, 1 great swing a game. All right, it's more than you were getting before.
Yeah.
And it's a sign of progress.
Here was that clip from Mike Hazen on Wolf and Luke.
I think the ball he hit last night over the left fielder's head is a good example of something that has been happening at least once per game for the last week to 10 days. And I think that is what we weren't seeing earlier in the season, and is what makes me feel like things are starting to move in a direction that they need to move. He's smoking baseballs again. And I think that is a good sign for when he gets going that it's all still there. It's all right. Still, inside, and we just need to get it a little more consistently, timed up, whatever it is, pitch selection, whatever those things all come together as. And I think he's going to – and look, if all these guys get going at the same time, then we're going to be a pretty good offensive team for a while.
Smoking the baseball?
Smoking a pancake?
Yeah,
not a good idea to smoke a baseball. That leather, that rawhide, not good for your lungs, clearly.
Well, if you smoke it, then it's not raw anymore.
That's true.
That is a good point.
Last year, going back to Corbin Carroll, what he did in terms of extra base hits, and that was something that was really lacking earlier in the season. He's starting to come around, but he had 65 extra base hits last year, 30 doubles, 10 triples, 25 home runs. Out of his total number of hits, 40.4% were extra base hits. This year, even with this latest surge, he's at 27.8% of his hits are extra base hits.
Yeah.
And the number is rising.
But the hits still aren't, they're not enough of them, and they're not impactful enough. And then you got it because, and this really speaks to this point of the blast. The sophomore slump is something thrown around constantly in baseball, more so than in any other sport. And is it really real? If a guy's been around for 500 bats in year one, is there really adjustments baseball can do in the offseason to detonate you in year two? There's a lot of people who think the sophomore slump in baseball is it's all a bunch of crap.
It's just a bunch of crap.
It's just a bunch of crap.
But there's also a long list of rookies of the year even who that was their peak.
Well, yes, because
Mitchell Page in the 70s.
Wow.
Bobby Crosby, not too long ago.
Wow.
These guys peaked as rookies, and they all played for the Oakland A's. Why was that?
It's a complete crap.
It is a complete crap.
You would.
But Corbin Carroll also strikes you as somebody who's going to work as hard as it takes to get out of what is ailing him.
And that might be the issue.
Yes. It might be.
It might be because you're too deep into it.
I feel like he's flailing. A lot of swings where he's flailing and his footwork is not good. Like his feet are moving. They're not staying straight. They're like moving to first base, almost like how Ichiro used to swing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not Corbin Carroll to get solid contact. He's not a big enough, strong enough guy to swing like that and do that.
Look at Jarrett breaking it down from a technical standpoint. He turned into Walt Riniak back there.
He's not a big enough guy, but he's certainly strong enough. Yeah. He's deceptively strong. I've told you this. Yes. His back muscles and his lats, they're Hulk Hogan-esque.
Dude is ripped.
What is up?
So hopefully that continues this weekend against the Miami Marlins.
Let's break up the brooms this weekend. Let's have ourselves a party.
Yes.
And let's get on with the season.
And it is official now, by the way. Just moments ago, Arizona State University has promoted Graham Rossini to the position of athletic director. So the long wait is over. It started back in November, and here we are in almost June, but ASU's got an athletic director again. That is official from the university this morning.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.